Hi folks, meteorologist Michael Wilhite here with Southern Indiana Weather. Wanted to bring you a quick forecast update tonight. Not a long video probably here tonight, folks. Just a kind of a quick forecast update on where we stand. If you've been following the page throughout the week, well then folks, you know that we have potentially some snow in the forecast. Right now it's not looking like a huge deal at this point, but it would be the first flakes of the season, so there is a big deal in that. Let's kind of break down the setup as quickly as we can tonight here, folks. What you got going on out here is basically two distinct areas. Let me go ahead and stop this and just give you an idea of what we got going on. First off, you have a low pressure centered here around in here, and this is what's going to bring us several waves of rain as we go through. It's not going to be over the next couple of days. It's not going to be an all-day soaker kind of a thing, but we'll certainly see some. This low will sort of move off and eject up this way in this fashion, and of course as it does, what it's going to do is it's going to pull down colder air with it, so that colder air is key. Then you got this little mess over here. It doesn't look too impressive yet, but what this is some energy from the short wave in the jet stream that's eventually going to spawn another area of low pressure around Texas whenever it finally starts to round the trough. This low pressure will then sort of track behind this, and this will start to track on Saturday. Going to track in a fashion probably somewhat similar to this as it moves up, and so that actually could leave a pretty significant swath of snow for some people, say from maybe around St. Louis into Illinois, maybe even some into northern Indiana and up. This area will certainly get some reasonable snowfalls. The question is going to be how far beyond that, and I do think those of us here in the blue could see a little bit of snow with this as well. The question is how much, and I think it's going to be a lot more minor amounts. The heavier snow's certainly going to fall over here in the yellow, but this blue, maybe some light backside snow. So let's go ahead and talk about what's going on. Let's go to the modeling. First, let me show you the NAM real quick and what the NAM does. We're going to have, as I said, a couple of waves of precipitation come through. Here is future radar, the surface map overlaid on it as well. And here we go. There's that rain that you saw on the radar. That starts to move in tonight, and we get a little showers overnight. There's your first low pressure. It starts to eject up. There's your next low pressure starting to move in, and by the time you come in here until early Saturday morning, that's what you come. In fact, it looks like it can be a pretty decent little soaking worth of rain on Saturday. Notice the low pressure moves sort of right over Indiana, and watch this. There's some snow on the back side of it in Illinois where I drew out for a little bit of the heavier snow. That moves through. As the low pulls away, and then you notice that we start to change over to some snow on the back side of the system. So there would still be a little bit of snow associated with this for us, but it would be snow showers. And the question would be, how fast can the temperatures fall for anything to stick? Very difficult whenever you have snow on the backside of a low exiting to get much accumulation out of it, to be quite frank. But I think up to an inch is still possible with this, unless the track of the low drastically shifts further to the east. Probably not going to get the heavy stuff, but you know, a light coating could be possible for some with the way the NAM looks. Now the GFS is in a very similar time frame, and you can see there's that first wave moving in, that first low moves off. Here the low comes for Saturday, and then you got some snow over here on the back side, on the northwest side of the low here. As it moves over us, maybe we have some light snow showers as well, and then that moves off. The low, the GFS, by the way, as we go later on into the time period, we'll mark this. We're not going to cover it tonight, but by the time you get to about the 16th into the 17th, the GFS has what could be another interesting little system moving in here, and that's about all that we'll say to it at this point. It's way too far out in time. It's very significant on the modeling right now, but the GFS has a tendency to make storms very significant in the way long range and then back off of them as it gets closer. So that's something that we'll keep an eye on for the next one around the 16th and 17th. That one may have more of a chance because the cold air will be locked more into place if things work out. But again, this one, as you can see on the GFS, still, again, maybe just some snow showers on the back side of the system. Now, again, temperatures are going to matter with this. The GFS, aggressive on temperatures. By the time you get into Saturday afternoon, you're into the low 50s. You're falling into just the upper 40s by the time dark comes. And then after that, notice that by the time you're 1 in the morning, you're already down into the upper 30s into the area. And then by the time you wake up on Sunday morning, it's got Evansville at 23, the Washington County Airport there, or excuse me, Washington, Indiana Airport there at around 27, and you know, even 31 in Indianapolis. Well, folks, that's aggressive with the cold air, and of course that would lead to a little bit more chances for accumulation. What I want to show you though, the NAM, not quite that aggressive. Again, highest temperatures in the 50s there, but by the time we get down into the overnight hours, no, we're still talking mid 40s by the time the overnight's beginning. And even by the time you're waking up on Sunday morning with this, that's whenever you're starting to just come into below freezing around parts of the area. So that would make it very harder for some things to stick. Possible for some accumulation on the backside, but again, very harder. You need those temperatures to be near to below freezing in order to get much to stick. Now with that, here's what the models are showing as far as accumulation. The GFS, again, a pretty sizable storm system, but again, that storm system is sizable out to our west, just as I outlined. There's some pretty reasonable, significant accumulations, especially out here into Missouri. But you notice for us, no, we're not looking at anything here. We're looking at maybe up to an inch at most with the GFS. Now, if you want to go to the other model, let's look at the NAM. NAM is even less aggressive for us and would give us, again, the NAM is warmer on its temperature profile too, so it would be anything. That's not to say that we couldn't have snowflakes with it. Wouldn't stick with the NAM, and so therefore you get less accumulations with it, but it's still possible. Canadian model, also seen a little bit of light accumulations, but again, nothing to write home about. Same way with the Euro model. The Euro model seeing the accumulations to our west, maybe just a light coating for around us. So even if the GFS, which is the most aggressive for us with a snow accumulation at this point, even if that is right and we do get up to an inch of snow accumulation, I am questioning that, but I would not rule it out at this point, folks. But I don't think it's going to be a big deal. Pavement temperatures are still going to be pretty warm anyway, so this is not going to be a high impact system the way things look, unless the only way that would change that, folks, really here is as if the low that tracks this way, the modeling has it kind of tracking like this right now. If the models are wrong, and let's say it starts to track more in a fashion like this, well, all of this heavier snow could be pushed over us, and that is a possibility. We've still got some time to work out before then, but the closer we get to the event, the less likely that is to happen. So again, I do think there is some chance for some flakes. I don't see it being a significant system yet, but stay tuned. Of course, we'll give you updates. Evening model runs actually will start running in. The NAM will start running in here in about 10 minutes. I'll look at that and then post later on, and then the GFS in a couple of hours. The Euro won't come in until the overnight. So by tomorrow, though, we'll have a little bit better of a handle on this. I'll have a longer one of these videos to talk more about the pattern and maybe to look down a little bit more in time beyond just this system as well, because there is going to be some cold locked in place. And I think next week, with some systems that could move through, we might have even better chances at snow because of this. So stay tuned, folks. I'll have another update for you tomorrow evening. Thanks for watching and take care.